This meeting is being recorded.
Oh my God, that's so loud. Okay. Thank you, John. I would like to see your face too as well. All right, so go ahead and start. Okay, so hi everybody. Today, welcome to today's African Youth Leadership Training Agenda. We have this ongoing. Every 2 months we have a new cohort, and so we will have about 6 weeks and 12 classes on the weekend, or 2 classes each weekend usually, and then it's just ongoing so that we can. Our hope is to reach to a continental-wide Pan-African population as well as the diaspora possibly. And I'm Dr. Eileen. I am the co-founder of the African Youth Diaspora Organization, and this is Yemi. Yemi is actually our chief of staff, and he's also responsible for capacity building at the State of African Diaspora. And a little bit about Yemi. So Yemi Oluwayami, he's a Yoruba from Nigeria, and he is a I'm gonna make a point of always like introduce somebody's tribes. I think that's really important. Hi Obehi, welcome. Yeah, so Oluwayami is a Opoku, 1 second. Oh, Elizabeth, would you mind to let Opoku in? Thank you so much.
Yes, I've done it.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Sorry for the interruption. Oluwayami, like I said, he's an Igbo from Nigeria. He is also the chief of staff for African Youth Diaspora Organization, and he's a human business solution expert that uses agile process to solve problems and deliver product that gives highest productivity for organizations. Oluwayami, Oyami, would you mind to tell us a little bit about what does agile processes mean, and what does it mean to be an agilist, in your lecture. He's also a Scrum Master, and also please explain that in your lecture. That helps product owners, development team, and organization as a whole to build and transform businesses and team effort to maximize values to both business and customers. I know there's a lot of jargons here, so I think it's much better if like Yemi can explain that. One thing I know for sure is I've worked with Yemi for quite a few different settings, and the thing about working with him is that why is the chief of staff for AYDO is because whenever I got into it, I seriously think that 90% of the problem in a company or any business or organization is about people, like how to deal with people, and so on and so forth. So whenever I get in stuck in a people issue, Oluwayami is where I run to. So I always run to him. It's like, okay, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And then he will be like, okay, I'm coming to rescue you. So he has this like innate nature of like problem solving. I don't know how he does it. It was amazing. And that's what actually I have to say that like this is like a common thread with working with Africans. And Africans are very sophisticated thinker and a lot of emotional intelligence. And I just, they're really the human experts. And Yami is like the cream of the top. So go ahead, take it away, Yami. Thank you for being here.
So much. Thank you so much, Dr. Aiden. I am humbled that that's quite interesting. My name is Yemi Odubote. If you're comfortable, you can just say Yemi. Some just say Yemi. And I'm Yoruba. Dr. Eileen is getting used to the tribes, so he can introduce us properly, which is quite interesting. This is the part I'm not really good at doing introductions, because then again, I'll be like, where should I start from? But what I normally tell people, my name is Yemi. I'm into people development and leadership, and the things that I'm involved with over the years sort of helped me to grow as an individual, in different organizations, and just as I am with AYDO, same one with State of African Diaspora and other organizations. And what I would say about myself is I'm this person that's really interested in seeing another person grow. For some reason, it gives me fulfillment, and that also reflected in where I work, with my family, with my friends, people around me. So if you're my friend and you're not, I'm not impacting you one way or the other, then maybe you're the one that is not really being open to see or to receive. And it's quite interesting whenever there's an opportunity to talk about leadership. You know, we hear about leadership every time, and people have given it a lot of definition in terms of perspective, in terms of where you come from, in terms of what you know. And but what people don't really get to ask is what is not actually leadership. Because if I start saying the leadership is this or leadership is that, I'm just probably just saying what you already know. Okay, but let's just do like a quick exercise, yeah. And I think I've done this. Yeah, I have done this before with my team. That okay, close your eyes. All right. When you close your eyes, imagine a leader. How a leader should look like. How a leader should be. Just imagine how they should look like at first. I think that's in the outwardness, what they're supposed to look like, their face, the smile, the dressing. Okay, if you're able to do that, then just tell me what did you imagine? What do you think they look like? And if I'm going to go through my list, I don't know, is it Elizabeth or should I start with Beloved? That okay, if you actually did that exercise, if you close your eyes and you imagine a leader, what image came to mind? Anybody to tell me?
Hello, everyone. My name is Obehi. I'm happy to join here. I like the challenge for the fact that in Africa today, leadership is something that is missing. No, leadership is not missing, but quality leadership is actually missing, or a people-oriented leadership. So if I close my eyes and I imagine what a leader should be, I look at, I see a family, a person who is going there to struggle and bring something to the family. You don't need somebody to wake you up and say, go and do this. You are a man of the family. You are supposed to go out there and do what is right so that the family can survive. And in this case, if you're looking at the country, we look at the leader of a country. If you're looking at a company, we look at somebody who we are looking up to in the company. If you're looking at a group, somebody we are looking up to as a leader so that every other person is a follower or collaborator. Thank you.
Interesting. Is there no other person? And I think Obey has given the answer on the aspect of politics in the society, in family, in an organization. So whenever we imagine who a leader is, we always imagine someone at the top. You always picture someone that is there, the president, the head of an organization, the head of the family, the head, you know. So that has, for some reason, structured our mindset that for you to be a leader, or for me, or for anyone to actually be a leader that is defined, you have to be at the top, or you must be at the top. At least if you're not at the top, you should have some level of expertise, some level of, but however, people tend to forget that first, before you even graduate in terms of leadership development, you need to first of all be able to lead yourself. So now we want to come down from the ladder of confusion to fact. The fact that how you live your life is your leadership style. Obi, are you agreeing with me? How you lead your life is your leadership style.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree with you.
Fantastic. So for the fact that how you live your life is your leadership style, that automatically means that you are a leader. What could possibly be missing is how you place, define, or project yourself as the leader. So it is quite interesting that today's topic is about leadership development. And with that first exercise, it has allowed to create a foundation that a lot of people, if not 80%, think that for you to be a leader, you have to be at the top, head of the family, and be in a particular high position. Okay. But now let's unlearn that to the fact that you yourself, you are a leader in the aspect of how you're living your life, how you're leading your life. That is why the number one quality of leadership is leading by an example, because how you live your life, that's how people see you, and that's the potential they are going to give to you. Okay, we've been able to set the tone, the conversation of what we're going to do. And Dr. Eileen was saying I should talk about a bit of product manager, Agilist, Scrum Master. I'll probably use that as a case study as I go on in my conversation. Great. So like from the previous conversation, from the previous side of what I mentioned, that how you lead your life, how you live your life is your leadership style. Meaning that what is your leadership style? Even if you want to develop yourself in any level, in any angle, in any format, you need to know the leadership style you're actually leading or currently leading. How are you living your life as a leader? Even if you want to develop a jump from point A to point B, you need to even understand what point you currently are. Yesterday, the trainer yesterday spoke on personal development, and it really touched base in the area of personal development, self-awareness, understanding who you are as a person. I won't really go deep into that. I'm sure the video is out. You can easily get access to watch that. But let's just quickly look at this. Now, they mentioned about 10 leadership styles. Before today, as in like 2 years ago, I never knew leadership styles were up to 10. I used to probably think of the popular one, the Autocratic, the Transformational, maybe the Coach, but every other thing, because everything is changing, life is changing, and because of that, a lot of things are coming up. A lot of people with different personality, not even go to the aspect of sexuality. So things are changing. People's mind are defining things in a very different manner beyond what we even see as an African. And because it is expected that Africans, when I say it is expected, there are some people that think Africans are not supposed to be able to think beyond what we are supposed to know. That is why it is important. When you say you're a coach, a lot of people, when you go around, we have a lot of people that are not coaches. You can comfortably say, I can coach this person, or let me coach you, without getting certified or getting trained on how to coach. But if you are that person, that means you're a motivational person. And for every leadership style, there are downside. The idea I want to project here is, which of all these, where do you fall in? Some people have a mixture of both, 2 to 3. Some are really tied to one part. So if you're a coach, you're really interested in the other person. The downside might be that you might forget yourself. You might forget to take care of yourself, and you get overwhelmed with trying to coach someone on one-on-one type of a leader. So if you're that type of leader, you need to also focus that I need to take care of myself too. Let's look at a visionary leader. A visionary leader, obviously, when you have that person that just have these huge ideas, always like, in the next 5 years, what if I'm able to build something that do this, that do that? That is a visionary leader, and I'm going to get the aspect, those that are factual. Visionary leaders are not always factual. It's just like when you want to build a product, you need to have a vision. After having a vision, you need a roadmap. The roadmap, you need to break it down to features. From vision, you need to break it down to data, because you need to work with data to be able to build what you want to build. So as if you are a visionary leader, okay, and you want to develop yourself, try as much as possible to find ways to work with data, because if you do not, you might just end up daydreaming, thinking of the vision, where you want to go, where next to be, okay? So the idea is, are you a visionary leader? You need to start working with fact, data. How about a servant leader? There's some people they call servant leader, just like a scrum master. A scrum master is not a slave, but it's more like a servant leader, because you're going to be helping the organization, the product manager, you're going to be helping developers and all of that. So you're more like everywhere, helping them out. So you need to really take care of your mental health, because you're putting a lot of people's problem on your head. So if you are the leader that you like to carry everybody's problem on your head, you need to know how to step back and not do a mommy. When you mommy your team too much that they don't even know how to do anything anymore. Yes, that is the downside of being a servant leader. Okay. How about the autocratic leader? People don't really like autocrat because they're always body book, strict, rigid, move forward, let's do this. But they are needed in some environments where they need to, where it's really result driven. If you're in an environment that really need quick result, get an autocratic leader, because they just keep driving, keep pushing and say, let's do this. Yeah, this is how we do it. The disadvantage obviously is they're not all that creative, So if you're this person that you want to go everything by the book, this is how we've been doing it, let's do it this way. Try to be open-minded to creative ideas. Be friends with a visionary leader, because you work with data, and a visionary leader does not really use data because they imagine a lot. So that is even when you're building your organization or when you're building your team, professionals try to look at this when they do the normal analysis and try to figure out, oh, you are autocratic. I cannot pair you with another autocratic because it might be so boring to read you. How about a visionary leader? Okay. Or what about a coach? Now, a laissez-faire is more like the opposite of the autocrat. Number 5 now. This one is no structure. This is what you do. I don't have to supervise you, get your job done. That's even where the future is going now, where I don't have to micromanage you, put pressure on you. If you are that person, because people sometimes need structure, and if structure is missing, they just tend to do whatever they want. Not totally true. So sometimes you need to employ a bit of structure from an autocratic person. So if you're a leader that is at number 5, you might need someone in number 4, because you're somewhat like a coach and a visionary leader. Okay, look, same with the democratic. You're supportive and innovative. So democratic pace setter, servant leader, they have some stuff in common. They just want to have peace. They just want things to go forward. So if you are the person, you need structure, you need data, you need to be firm sometimes. So the best way to go about it is, at any level that you are as a person, you need to figure out, where am I right now? Another thing is transformational. A transformational leader is what people are looking for. People are looking for transformation. How can you transform a team, an organization? People, we need transform. So a transformational leader, in my term, is someone that can quickly move between different leadership styles and still find a way to be back to one person. And okay, let me pick a bit of this. They observe, they analyze, and say, okay, this meeting, I think I need to be a visionary leader. People need to see the vision. Oh, this meeting, we need to work with data. Transactional, you are the type that if you do well, I give you good thing. If you don't do well, I punish you. Or bureaucratic, which is similar to autocratic. So look at this again, because everything has a foundation. If you don't have your foundation, if you don't have, or if the foundation is not strong, or if it's weak, to progress might be a problem. That is why organizations everywhere globally are really putting in place leadership development, a good leadership development. How are you going to develop yourself? I don't know if there are any questions yet, or maybe we want to hold the questions till later. But the point.
Yami. Hi. Yes, I would like us to have a little question, because this is we're trying to be interactive, so it would be great if we can have a little question between.
Fantastic.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So have we started the question and answer? So is it okay for us? Does anybody has any question, please?
No,
or just anything?
I'm just on this part before I move forward.
Okay, sounds good. And I just want to say that I'm going to slip into my car. So Opoku is going to jump in and moderate, and then I'll come right back. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Yes. So if you
I can't hear anything.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at this, if you follow, we're going through like a journey where you understand what leadership is, what is not, people's perspective, and now we've been able to come down from the ladder of confusion. There's something called ladder of confusion, but the bottom of the ladder of confusion is fact. So we need to come down to fact. Now in the previous slide, okay, which of these leadership styles am I? And that was what we discussed in the previous slide. And now we want to even now look at it in more details. What are those competencies and qualities? And I like what Academy to Innovate HR has done. They've been able to put these together and say, so let's start from, since we're starting from self. Competencies for leading yourself. What are the things you need? This is not everything, but you need to look at it yourself. If using myself as an example, initially, I used to tell people that my life started 4 or 5 years ago, because anything before then, I was probably just here and there, mostly scattered, just do whatever comes, and I don't even understand what I'm supposed to be doing, But 4 or 5 years ago, everything changed. And I had to start from that foundation, self-discovery. Yeah, you know, self-discovery is a journey. It's never ending. But at some level, you need to know your strengths, your weaknesses, the things you can do or cannot do. And those are some of these questions that they are asking here. So what are the competencies for leading yourself? What are the things you need, or what are the things you need to practice before you can comfortably say, oh, now I am leading myself in the right direction? Because you need to know that even if you're not leading yourself, doing anyhow or living anyhow, you're leading yourself to the wrong path. That's not like a constant. So is it that right or wrong? There's no right wrong. There's no mixture. So is it that light or darkness? So competencies for leading yourself in the right path. Here they mention learning, agility. How quick are you ready to learn, unlearn, relearn things? How open-minded and how comfortable are you to say, oh, these things that I've known, just like Obeyi was able to answer us earlier on that, oh, what he projected as someone who is a leader is the head of a family, a president, and that has given people the perspective of who a leader should be. Meaning is either if you're not rich, you can't be a leader. If you're not at the top, you can't be a leader. But now they are telling me to lead myself. How can I feel like I can lead myself when I don't even have all the competencies that people think a leader should have? The money, the position, the power. So now we want to debunk all of that myth and say, now let's unlearn some things and learn some new things. So leading yourself is important. What are the things you want to do? What are the experts? Now they mention industry expertise, meaning that even if you're an organization, even if you're a student, you need to start figuring out where you want to be in the next 5 years. Maybe you're a visionary leader. So if you're a visionary leader, you want to be somewhere in 5 years in your industry, or I want to be, let's say, a product manager. So what are the things you need to start doing? Those are the data now, because you need to start doing data, not wait and say, everything will sort itself. 5 years will come, you're there, you're daydreaming. So get involved, get occupied with things you need to do to move. How are you able to manage yourself? Self-management is key. And this is the part where I tell people, how resilient are you? How quickly can you recover when an issue happens to you? Different things are happening around. People are, don't let me even start. So we won't have to go through that feeling. But the most important thing now is that how can you manage yourself to quickly recover and not fall into the trap of, I think I'm tired, I think I'm exhausted, I think I can't do this anymore, I think I want to quit, I think I don't want this. How can we push all of that away? What are the courage? Do you have the courage? Do you even have the courage to speak up? There's so many amazing people. Do you have the courage to ask for help? Do you have the courage to speak out? Do you have the courage to say, this is what I want, this is what I need to do, I don't want to do that? Courage makes a leader. It is not until when you have to be balanced. It has nothing to do with that. Organizational citizenship behavior. This is an interesting word. Meaning, if you find yourself in any organization, are you aligning with their vision and mission? Do you even know why you're here? Do you even know why you're volunteering? Do you even know why you're doing what you want to do? Do you have a plan? Are you giving back? Are you just there, or are you contributing? So if you're able to answer all of these things, I don't want to go deep because the instructor yesterday spoke more on personal development. But the idea is, ask yourself all these confusing questions that your mind has been running away from. Okay? What can I do? How can I do it? Where should I go first? If you can answer those questions truthfully and honestly, then you have a journey, you have where to go. Okay? And look at competency. Then if you can lead yourself, then the next graduation is how you want to lead others. You can't continue leading yourself forever. You have to grow. That's the idea of leadership development. Now, how can you lead others? Okay. Interpersonal skills. Obeyi, do you want to talk a bit about interpersonal skills? Obeyi, like you're a leader yourself.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I didn't get the question.
I was talking about the competence for leading others. And number one thing I'm saying is the interpersonal skills, which is very important for anyone that wants to lead another person. So I just want to talk briefly on it, maybe in a few seconds.
Thank you for that. That is an honor. Where I think it is important because now I like also what you said before, no, is that before you can lead others, you first need to lead yourself. So everything, of course, is going to begin from you now, knowing what you are even doing, what you are getting into. So your ability to lead yourself, which of course the same thing that you are going to need to lead others, is going to be very important now if we are looking at the skill, your interpersonal skill. And of course, by this, I mean, we are referring to your level of understanding. What do you need? What do people need? What is the situation need that you are going to be resolving? Because if you are a leader, you are not just a figurehead, like I was saying before, in the case of a family. You are a leader because you are leading the people to somewhere. I think it comes from leadership. For you to do that, you need to know where you are going. What is the vision of the group? What is the vision of the community? So you need these skills to be able to know what is around you. What resources do you need? How do you evaluate the situation? Whether the situation about you or the situation surrounding the people. Are we in the situation that where there is there hunger in the land? Is there war? What do we need? If it is a business, are we progressing? How are we going to be able to evaluate this? As a leader, I think you need all these skills to be able to assess the situation and then decide for the people. Also, like what you were saying before, that you should be able to speak up, your truth actually, because in Africa, it is said that uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. It basically means that it is not an easy thing to be a leader. That is why I often say that leadership, we don't just drag any person and say, hey, come and become the leader. It is a sacrifice in most of the cases. Sometimes, yes, you did say before, sometimes as a leader, you do forget yourself. Yes, because that is the sacrifice that you require. Otherwise, everybody could just jump into, okay, so maybe we are using the political sphere now as an example. Anybody can just become the president. No, everybody cannot become the president. Everybody can become the governor. No, everybody cannot become the governor. And I think today, in Nigeria, for example, and in Africa, we need to make that conscious choice, knowing that it is not, this leadership is not for everybody, of course, particularly leadership in some cases now. Okay, you can be a leader in your house, but when life is involved, say maybe, for example, you are the leader of the country now, there are a lot of skills that you need to be able to run the country. I understand you have all the forces of cohesion under your control. You have the police, you have the army. You can force the people to go into a particular direction. Okay, but that is not a good leader, at least not in the 21st century. As a good leader in the 21st century, you are going to be able to work with the people, try to really be a leader, not just forcing people like a cattle, just flogging the, hey, go, go, go. That is not a good leadership. I think that is not the kind of skill we are looking for now. The kind of skill that will be required now will be to be able to understand the feeling, the willingness, the feeling of the people. What do they want? Where are we going? So that is what I will be able to just pick out from my head just now.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And if you were listening to Obey, and that is why leadership development, there are phases to. You can't jump a step and go to the other, because there are some things you need to learn in the previous step. So wherever that you are, you need to learn what you need to learn and move forward. If you look at this, looking at people management, can you manage people? Some people at work, they want promotion, but they've not been able to show that they can even lead themselves, let alone showing the qualities that is required to even lead a team. So you are like on organization for a while, and someone just joined, and that person has been promoted because that person is portraying some competencies as a leader, not because that person knows the work, 100%, but because they're portraying some certain qualities that the organization is looking for, and they just feel like, come, I want you to be this person. Okay, so interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence, being a good coach and trustworthy, inclusiveness, people management, and that goes from next to leading an organization. When you become an executive, you won't bother yourself on some mundane activities. That was what Bay was trying to say. So at that point, when you're at that phase, you'll probably be looking at conflict management, decision making, because you can't be unsure on how to make decision. You should be able to undo change management. If things are going wrong, you can quickly say, this is the route we need to take. This is what we need to do. Quickly share compelling vision, decision making, manage conflicts. Now, those are the competencies. That is why, like I mentioned, I'm using an organization now for an example, or a country, you need to portray some qualities, not because you feel, oh, I know this work now. I've been doing it for 15 years, and I can. But can you manage people? Can you manage yourself? Can you even manage your neighbor? Can you even help someone? What is your leadership style? Are you an autocratic leader? Are you a visionary? Are you a transformational? So people look at all these things that can help the organization or your country or your family move forward. Okay, so look at this area once again and figure out what are the levels that I am in. Okay, so quickly, these are another interesting.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, of course.
Or make a comment. Personally, I feel that leadership is also a learning process. Nobody can be a perfect leader at the beginning, and actually, there's no perfect leader. And so so I just feel like trying is important. Intentional trying is important, and just personally speaking, I feel like a lot of my just recently I have learned to ask myself a question: is this decision good for me? Like I'm saying that as a third person. So what you just said about self-management led me to think about maybe I should ask the same question as a leader in any situation. And I also feel like leadership is situational. When you say what kind of leaders you are, and I feel like, well, sometimes you play different roles in different situations. So maybe that's conditional. But I just want to say that it's like, is a progress. And then perhaps one of the most important question from my experience is to ask that question as a leader: is this the best decision I can make for this organization or this situation at the moment? So that's just my input. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, looking at you, Dr. Eileen, you are a leader of an organization. You are at another phase entirely. And you just said what I mentioned earlier. Let me quickly go back. You were speaking on the action of social intelligence, how you can make decisions, how you can do change management. What you just said are falling in this line. And look at this, this is a flow. It does not stop. At one point, you reflect on self. You reflect on your team. It does not stop. It does not mean when you go to up a phase, you're constant there. No, it's like a ladder, it's a flow. Self-reflection, your team, you look at your team, you reflect together. You go on the executive level, you reflect together. It's a flow, it's continuous. Just as this phase is like a step, like a pyramid. I can decide I want to come to level 1 and come and look at myself again, and then go to level 2. Am I really contributing my leader to my member? But however, because leadership development, not just talking about leadership now or what leadership is, we're talking about how can I develop myself as a leader, and development is continuous. If you do not understand or know the level that you are, there will be internal conflicts. There's another thing to have inferiority complex. There's another thing to be unsure of yourself. There's another thing to feel overwhelmed that, why am I in this position? Why do they think I can do all of this? But there's another thing to not even have any idea of the type of leader you are. But when you understand and know, oh, this is the type of leader I am, this is the phase that I am currently, and this is what I need to start doing, this is what I need to reflect on, these are the things I need to check to be sure that I have these competencies, the qualities, social intelligence. Am I taking care of myself? Do I know what it takes? Do I know this? Can I answer this question? Do I have the courage? Do I know people management? So just imagine that you're here, let's say I was telling people 4 or 5 years ago, I had no idea where I was. I was just here. I was just outside of this pyramid. I was not even in level 1. But when I now sat down, I started asking myself some questions and start building myself, figuring things out. Then I jumped to level 1 here. And when I say I jumped to level 1, I didn't say it because of what I think I am doing. I am saying it based on what people are telling me. Now, get that. That's another important thing. People need to tell you, people need to say it. That's leadership. Another word I coined from leadership is lead a sheep. Like when you're a leader of a sheep, like Pirates of the Caribbean type of a leader, for example. You need to let people tell you, not you telling yourself, I'm all right. That means you're not getting feedback. So getting to level 1, it says you're making productive contribution through your talents, your knowledge. That is what you have as a person. You're really contributing. For an example, if you're part of AYD or part of any organization at work, or even as a father, you're at level 1, meaning what are you expected to do as a husband? You're doing it. Being a father is another level, meaning you've gotten married, you got a wife pregnant, you now have a baby. So father is like level 2. Okay. So level 1, even starting as a husband or starting as an employee or a volunteer at an organization, are you using your knowledge, your skills, your good work habit? Then level 2, meaning you are contributing now. Yes, this guy is good. It's just like when you're trying to do, you want to form a team, joining a new team, they tell you to do forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining. So there are levels to that one also. But this is for you now. So you're contributing as a team lead, as a team member. People are seeing you, they say, wow, this guy is good. Then Dr. Ali will just approach you that, hello, John, for an example, you've got good skills, and over the time, I see how you're contributing, you're doing a lot of work. Would you mind to come and be, like, for an example, project manager? What does that mean? Based on what you're doing, someone is coming to recommend you. That automatically tells you that you're ready for level 3. So that means you're a competent person. You can organize people. You have the resources you need. So don't be surprised, aside from every other factor that goes wrong in organizations. But if you're doing what you're supposed to do, and just like the Pareto's law of 80-20, some say 70-30, the 30% or the 20% you're doing would always be the one that achieve the maximum result. You might be hired to come and be a programmer. Yes, you can program. You have a lot of programmers, you're there together working. But what is that unique thing that would separate you from the others? Now that's going to be the 20-30, and that will be your leadership style. That is one thing that will separate you. I don't think there will be probably anything, because you're going to be the aura of your social intelligence, your interpersonal skills, your competency, and all of that will be showing. You're connecting people, you're helping people out. They'll be like, okay, now to move to level 3. Remember, we are talking about leadership development. If you're in level 1 for too long, then you need to ask yourself some questions. Am I even really contributing? I'm just there to let just be known that I'm here. That type of, let me just be in a WhatsApp group, at least I'm here. Or that type of mindset. But when you want to be an effective leader now, this is what they are calling it. But you can say level 4. You can give your level 4 another name. Because there's a transition from being a manager to an executive. In some work organizations, they'll tell you you're a senior manager. But an effective leader, if I'm going to look at it or explain it in simple terms, meaning that you can comfortably look at the executive and advise them, and you can look at your fellow manager and say, this is what we should be doing. You are making decisions on behalf of the executives, even before they make that decision. Does that make sense? A good example is, working in a bank and working with really is a fast-paced environment that people are doing a lot of things. And my boss will probably send me a message to ask some things. Then I'm giving her answers already. That, oh, have you blah, 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 blah. They'll be like, oh yes, this is what we are doing, this is where we are. Normally she's always say, oh, let's do this. Have you? No. Then she just be like, okay, meaning that, wow, I think you've done the job. I think you've been able to help me to do some things that I'm supposed to do. Now you are now at level 4. So your executives are now eyeing you like, I think we need to pull this person up, because this is much of a talent. They won't tell you this is much of a person that can type or can do Excel, can schedule meetings, or can speak good English. No, they'll just tell you this is a talent. This is someone we want to pull up and let him start running things for us. And remember your leadership style, your uniqueness. You don't even have to be like any other person. You just have to identify what you are and just capitalize on that energy, on that skill, and that will project you. So that is the development. You have A, try to add BC, or BC, you have a lead tentacles. So what can I do? As an individual, as a leader that wants to grow, develop yourself, always figure out, what should I be doing? What am I learning from what I'm doing now? Oh, or maybe if you asked me 4 or 5 years ago, oh, come and present, I'm like, no, you can't call me. These things are for nerds. I am not a nerd. I can't waste my time and be speaking and be trying to, no. But now, then it was more like, that's fear. I can't do this. I can't speak all this big English or try to, but pushing myself and say, I'm not going to quit. Is it that I get it or not? Then I will try again. Even if I fail, I'll pick myself and be resilient. What do I need to learn? So that is the level, that's the phase we need to be as a young person, as an African, wherever that we are. There's no end. This level 5 executive, that's not the end anyways. But because globally, obviously, there are levels to defining all of this, just like at the presidential level, at whatever level. So there's a level of another level of the 1%. But that's the flow to it. And the flow will always start at level 1, where you can say, or where people can tell you and say, oh, you're a highly capable individual. Okay, if you have any question at this point, I'll gladly take it. If none, then I will proceed.
All right. Thank you. Anyway, I wanted to ask a question related to communication.
Okay.
But I don't know if you want to treat it as a separate argument, because I'm trying to understand what is the role or the importance of communication in leadership, because we see it affecting us in most of the cases, whether we are looking at it, because I used the example of politics before. Why not? Also because 2023 is an important year for Nigeria in terms of elections, so we can easily use that as an example. So I don't know if you want to say anything related to that, but because even in the family, it is very important. Even in business too, is very important. So that is why I wanted to speak to that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Obey. So quickly, communication. You know, just like leadership, there are some words that we've used over and we've heard over again since we were kids, and there has been a lot of meaning, understanding, perspective based on where we come from, society, the effect on our mindset, how we were structured as a person. But if I am going to talk about answer, you realize that there's actually no one way to give an answer to say, oh, communication should be, but what communication should be, it should be clear, simple, and concise. And it should carry a meaningful message that whoever that is listening and hearing you can give back a meaningful feedback. So being as a leader, being whatever country, I don't want to limit to a particular country or Nigeria, or because it's still the same issue globally, you know, it does not matter where you come from. When you're a leader, does not matter what level you are now, and you want to communicate and there is no clarity, you're just going to create another problem. It's like creating a problem, a mini problem in a problem. You know, you're calling someone, oh, I need you to get something done, and this is what you need to do, but you need to go, and you've gone all around and all around. And because the leadership that was defined to us is don't ask questions, you know, it is, I think the upcoming generation now, they are very comfortable to asking questions. You should have the courage to ask your leader questions for clarity so that the communication can be clear and simple. And for someone at level 5 or any level, conflict resolution skill is highly important. We all need that, and people underestimate that skill. Okay, a good example is I'm standing here, you're standing here, I'm seeing 6 and you're seeing 9. Any conflict is misunderstanding. It does not matter the level, a big misunderstanding or a small one. So far we are not agreeing on anything or a letter or a word, then that is conflict, and that can build to another thing. So I was at a show a week ago, something show called Sincerely Agile Mary, and a lady was talking about the acronym for CARE. She said C is for conscious empathy. As a leader, you need to be the bigger person. When I say leader, I mean a true leader now, not just leader. You need to be the bigger person, meaning you are making a conscious effort to say, you know what, I'm going to have that conscious empathy and walk in your shoe and listen to you. Why are you even calling my 6'9"? I want to know. I want to come and walk in your shoe and see what you mean. Now, that's the first step. If you're not doing that in any type of communication, then it is probably a waste of time, because I am not ready. That person is not ready to even understand your perspective. Now, that's number one problem. So you need to be ready to walk in another person's shoe and say, what is your mindset? Why are you saying this should do this? Why are you saying there should be religious war? Why are you saying, black skin color is a problem? Why? What is that thing? Okay, that's conscious level. Then when you go there and say, for an example, I'm now in Obey's shoes, I need to listen actively. I'm not listening to be like, we are not talking about a lot of confusion. I think I've mentioned that. I would like you guys to Google and read more. A lot of confusion. It's about facts, factual, faction. We need to stick to facts here. The fact is, for an example, child marriage. A young girl getting married is wrong. That's fact. But in some religion, it's not a problem. So we need to come back to the fact that it is wrong. So let me listen actively. Then we'll last stop on fact and what it is. Then look at the environment, you look at all that. So from there, when you communicate, remember as a leader, you need to be the bigger person. Bigger person meaning that you have the knowledge, the skill, the expertise, or what it takes to be a true leader based on what we mentioned earlier. Here, you have all these competencies. So if you're not working with all these competencies, then please don't communicate, because you're going to complicate things. So if you're listening to a leader and you're not portraying those competencies, don't even try to argue, because they will drag you down to O. Not to talk much on that. Let me stop from there on communication. Obey, is that good?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you for that. So I don't know, maybe somebody want to ask questions here, because I think, if there are some areas that are not clear to you, I mean the audience, you can ask so that Femi can clarify some of the point for us, because we are here to make the communication, make the meeting a kind of a shared one, so that we are all collaborating, we are all communicating, and we are all sharing our view. This way, it also helps him to better understand if the message is landing home. So if you have any question or a suggestion, why don't go ahead and do that?
Thank you so much for that addition. Okay, so you can ask question in between, maybe on clarification or addition. So if you look at this, I love the 9-box grid. Okay, can you guys still see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, so I love the 9-box grid. Okay, HR, they use it. You use it to, for your team. You can use it for yourself. Measure performance against potential. Okay, now people say potential, have potential. How do you even know you have potential? How? Meaning that you've performed and you've been measured, and from a measurement, they've seen that you have potential, and you've agreed that. Just like an athlete that has gone for trying to do rehearsal, you have a coach, you're doing your sprints, you're running, you're really showing the performance. Then your coach would say, "Oh, you're doing good." Or look at 5 runners that are really good. Usain Bolt had to represent because he was the best and he had the highest potential. And like, okay, you're good. So meaning that there's a way they can measure people using this 9-box grid. So note that your potential is your future performance capacity. I can only know your potential after you've performed. Does that make sense? You can only know your potential after you perform. So if you've not done anything, it's just like having your CV and you say you've done, 5 work experience, or you've done that. Okay, they'll be like, okay, this guy has potential. That is when they can say, oh, you have potential. You've worked, let's say you worked at First Bank, or you've worked at this company. Okay, this is good. So if you have, now this shows in, this arrow goes this way and this one goes up for potential. Bad hires, you are to hire someone. So if you're this person, your performance is low, you join a team, you're not performing very well. Let's say you're good. Let's say Elizabeth, she's brilliant, she's fantastic. Then she joined the team, and for some reason she felt like I don't want to show myself. I don't think I have time. Well, I would obey, or how would Dr. Eileen or Hubert measure Elizabeth? They'll say, oh, Elizabeth has low potential. Why? Because she has refused to perform. Results-oriented people. Leaders are result-oriented. You focus on outcome. Yes, the input is important, but you know the outcome is what you're going to measure to even see that, okay, I think I'm moving forward. I think we're good, doing good. Now, that's a good example for bad hires. It's to measure you as, this is a mistake. This is not good. Now, let's say you're performing low, but for some reason you're showing potentials. They are saying it. You're working small, you're doing your up or out. You are here 1 week, the next 2 weeks, we are not seeing you again. You're giving us ginger, yet tomorrow you're not giving us ginger. So you're just causing dilemma, you're causing confusion. They just don't know how to place you. Or the engine miles. So now if you read here, so I won't miss much of a time here because we can still see. But what this 9 grid is telling us is, ideally you should select. So if you want to know your potential, you should be at what? Number 1, high potential. You're performing, you're giving what you can give as a person, and you're at high potential when you've been measured. You're not just giving, let's say, for example, Obey is a TV host, and a TV host, you're expected to look good, speak good English, and all of that. And so Obey is looking good, and Obey is speaking good English. And there's another presenter, let's say me, I'm looking good, but I'm not speaking good English. But I have great interpersonal skills. But not that my English is not manageable, for an example. Now, if they want to measure my performance, and Obey does not really have much of interpersonal skills, and if they want to measure performance, they would want to look at the interpersonal skills and say, with the English, we can still send you on training and still do all of that. Now I'm telling you how people look at to measure now. Now it will still now fall back on how you're leading yourself or your team. They'll be like, oh, this guy has high potential. And I'm like, I can see potential in you. We can still move you. We can still move you forward. You're good. So in leadership development, wherever you find yourself, just give them. In Nigeria, they give them. You have to give them. Even if they are not doing you well, do not spoil your good name. Just show them that, see, I won't let you taint me. I'm going to do this job really good. And I'll probably leave. I have to leave, or wherever you go. Now, currently, whenever they want to hire a role for product manager or scrum master at where I work currently, my team lead, she would say, please, I need someone like Yemi. And no jokes. It happened the first time, second time, the third time. So one of the HR person called me and she said, hi, Yemi, that was yesterday. I was at home, I was relaxing. Hi, Yemi, how are you? Please, this person called me and she said she's looking for a scrum master. And she said she wants someone like you. Please, do you have anyone like you? Then I left. I said, there's nobody like me. On a joke as an example. But that was true and that happened. So from high potential, you should be able to find yourself to move to stars. From my previous example, using myself and Obey, and please know, Obey is good looking and he speaks good English, as you have seen, and got great interpersonal skills. So that was just an example. So if they see you are high potential, then as a leader, you need to strive and move forward. Then you ask yourself, what if, now that they are seeing me as this person, what if I, perform more? That means when you do your appraisal or when your boss appraise you. So if you are here, you can just go and meet Dr. Eileen, for an example. Say, Dr. Eileen, can you tell me my strengths and weaknesses? Meaning, can you tell me where I'm doing well and not doing good? Why do you think you like? Why do you think I'm here? Okay, I think they'll tell me because a good example, you know how to coordinate people. Good. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you need to hit hammer on that one. Coordinate people very well again. They'll be like, oh, so what are my weaknesses? I think you need to just show up. Show up, okay? Fine, no problem. Show up, set your alarm. 7 a.m. you are there, you're showing up. What do you think? How do you, in the next 2-3 months, you just be surprised? Dr. Ali will just tell you, I'd like to appreciate Elizabeth. She's a star. What just happened? That means you've increased in performance and your potential has hit a star. So it's always nice when you're an high potential stars or you're a high performer. So if you're working with a high performer team, you're with a team, how can you help them to be a high performer? Remember, if you're leading yourself and you're leading a team, by the time you're leading a team, you are less focused on yourself because you're good already. Now you want to make them be on point because they will never forget you. They will always remember what you've done anywhere. That is why sometimes it's always embarrassing when the Italian starts saying, oh, these are this. Trust me, all the things that Italian is talking about is something we've probably done 2 years ago, but she's still remembering it just as an example, yeah? So people will always remember your leadership style and how you help them to move forward, resolve issues, and all of that. So ideally, you select, now they are telling you this is for HR, but I'm also speaking from the angle of a person that is being measured by another person. Where you want, so you don't want to find yourself in this dilemma, bad ideas, you're in and out, or workhorses. Workhorses. Workhorses is even worse because you're just walking. Those people where, a good example is, you probably have a colleague or a friend, they are really good, but they don't talk to people. They're just in their corner. They're just in their shell. And I'm ever appraised that they're not getting promoted because when they are praising them on feedback, maybe the feedback is that, yes, they are good, but, it does not contribute, it just does whatever it wants him to do. In some environment, that is good. Don't get me wrong, okay? But now that things are changing, we are in a VUCA world. Everything is volatile, uncertain, ambiguous. You need to do more. Your leadership style, you need to show that you're a problem solver. You need to show that you can do more. You're not just there to send me a type, jump up, say, go, stand. If your boss is sending you something and you feel it's not right, you can do it the first and the second time. Then the third time, you might want to say, hello, sir, or hello, ma'am, or maybe it's by name or sir, that can I speak freely? I use that a lot. I still did that on Friday. Say, can I speak freely? He said, of course, go ahead. I hope it's fine. Then I said, I don't think there's something this and this, but I understand why you're saying this. What if, can we, then it worked well. It was good. You need courage because if you don't show courage, the leadership style of the past is that people are not supposed to speak up or say anything. You're just to be constant and be in a place. But you need courage to speak up. But how you're going to say it is very key. You need to have respect. That's one of the values of Scrum, You need to be committed. You have to have courage. You need to be open. You need to have respect. But how we're going to communicate respectfully is what is key. And so workers don't be the core players is good, okay? The disadvantage of core players now is that when they don't know where they're going to place you, that's the problem. Okay, his core is here, is there. Where should we put this person? Should this person be here or I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, you don't want to, because in the middle, that doesn't mean it's the best. You don't want to leave them guessing or confused. I am high performer. I've got high potential. Yeah, I'm a star. I am a star. But remember, it's a journey. It's not like you jump there. You can't even start from a bad hire. But whenever they give feedback, take feedback, learn from it, and everything will make sense. Leadership development is amazing. It's fun. And a particular like this, I use it to measure myself. So you can also do the same thing. Any question? Do you guys have any question here? Is something you want to ask about?
Well, I'm just waiting for a few seconds if somebody will ask question. Otherwise, I have one, even though I'm asking too many questions. But anyway.
No, you're not. That's another thing that's what whenever I get opportunity to speak with mostly Africans or youth that are young, we've been placed in a position where we feel like, I'm not going to ask anything because I might sound stupid or I might sound foolish, but we forget courage. We forget that the need for expression, the need to speak out, the need to be heard, and it has affected, our growth mindset as Africans, as youth, as a person. We need to have that mindset where I want to ask, does not make me feel like I'm talkative by this one. And many other things. But let me stop there. You can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Yemi. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think we should be talking about these things continuously. Leadership is some of the things that we don't actually learn in school. And we would usually say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But if we are not prepared to become good leader, then that tomorrow is actually problematic as it were. So issue like leadership or all those skills that usually will be called soft skills, we should be talking about it all the time instead of maybe people just going to Facebook to waste their time. We should be spending our time on this. Anyway, my question actually relates to the organizational skill of a leader. I was writing an article a couple of years ago in reference to, I think, what Peter Drucker referred to as the way he described leadership that time. I think he said, was it Peter Drucker actually, or I don't remember the guy. He said, if you have follower, then you're a leader. Then I would say something to the effect of, what if you are, of course, I know you are a leader. What if you are a military expert, for example, say maybe you are a commandant or you are a general. Of course, it's true that all the rank under you are going to obey you. But what if the leadership is a question of choice now, in that because you play a particular role, the people decide to listen to you and select you as their leader? So maybe there can be differences there. Let me clarify that too. Let me go back to Nigeria again to use an example that maybe many of us will understand. Now, let's say in Nigeria, a particular part of the country, there is hunger in the land. The people don't have food to eat. Let's say these people don't even have a leader. Then one person suddenly realized that there is something that needs to be done. He said, okay, he just roll off his sleeves. He take the shovel and say, hey, let's go and walk to feed our people. Now, everybody follow him. That is a leader. So where I want to go with this is, how much role does the organization has to play in a good leadership? In the sense that maybe you are even in a chaos. Everybody might be confused, but you cannot be confused as a leader. Otherwise, you're not supposed to be in the position of a leadership. You can be a follower, you can play a good role there. But as a leader, you must see something beyond what ordinary people can see and should be able to organize the people towards that, what you are seeing. So that is where I'm needing help. Please help me with that.
Now that's a beautiful question. And like I've always said, there are always context and perspective to leadership, which most of the time are affected on where we come from, our exposure, how limited our mindset is, or the growth limits it has. So as a leader, in terms of communicating and the impact of the organization, so helping leaders grow, that is what you're asking in that line, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Let me just use a case study. I used to work somewhere that, yes, they were interested in development and employee, maybe doing some certification and all of that, but it somewhat stops there, because when you empower your employees or your staff or volunteers, anyhow, anywhere, when you empower them, you need to also create that environment and put them in a position for them to perform. Okay, that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
If I am not put in a position to perform, and that is why we have so many young people lost and confused, like, what am I supposed to do now? Okay, I've gone to school. Okay, let's say, yeah, that's what the society, they've created the educational system to empower people, to grow and move to the next level in their life and thinking, okay, there are no jobs, where am I supposed to perform? Okay, there are no more positions, where am I supposed to perform? There are no opportunity for me to even get promoted. How am I supposed to perform and grow up in my leadership development or in the leadership phase? So I'm at point A, you've empowered me, whatever, you've given me certificates, go and train, go and learn. Okay, people are saying there's no money to train people anymore. Go and train yourself. Okay, I've trained myself, I've learned. So what's gonna happen now? Would I get promoted? Okay, no. Meaning you are doing the same job, doing the same thing you've been doing for the past 10 years, and you're not getting promoted, and you're telling you need to develop yourself. That's a problem. That's a bottleneck. It's like you're now, everyone is now, a good example is people are graduating and there are no jobs. They're not growing in leadership. In leadership, you grow, you expand from one level to another level, and every levels are connected from going to school, from family, from society. If if you have, just like when they say, opportunity means a prepared man. If there are no opportunities and you're having all this, you're reading, I know this person, I know this person. If there are no opportunity for you to perform, at one point or the other, your knowledge in you might even get decayed because you realize that what's the point? What am I doing this for? What am I going to use it for? Where am I going to perform? What are the potentials? Then that is where people dump every skills that they have and just say, let me pick this unwanted behavior. I think that's what's working. I think that's where, let me probably just smoke, or let me probably just, join a cult. At least join a cult, maybe they are growing. That is where all this idea comes from. So an enabling environment, organization needs to have an enabling environment for people to grow. When people are allowed to grow, they perform. When they perform, they see the need and importance to also move to the next level. Now, if these faces are out, if these opportunities are not there, the leadership would be limited. Then that limited mindset would hold everyone in one position and there will be no growth. And growth is needed for leadership development. So if you are in any organization, you're in any position that you can make the change that is needed for people to grow, then you need to make it. But of course, selfish reasons, if I promote you, what will not happen? So we need to create that enabling environment. We need to have that capacity. We need to cut down this bureaucracy that says that if you're not at this particular level, you cannot learn these things or do these things. We need to break those barriers. There's so many things people can do. But what I try to do anyways is I try to give solutions. Yeah. I like it when maybe I'm placed in that position or in that situation and I give them and I observe and I say, this is where you're lacking. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to figure out. But most of the time, why people don't develop, I said earlier that leadership development started for me 4 or 5 years ago, because where the environment, everything is not letting me to move forward. When you're there and something within you tells you that I think I can be more. People tell me, oh, you are, but then you can't see it. If you're in that position, when people tell you, oh, you're amazing, but in your head, like, where is the amazing? I can't see it because you do not have the opportunity to perform. And those potentials to you feels like a lie. You need that environment to perform. Then leadership development will go swiftly. Then after that, what I did, maybe to help another person, is then I started volunteering. I started volunteering. The first volunteer work I did, I enjoyed taking pictures on my phone. Then it's called Let's Do It World. So they have it in every country in collaboration with JCI. Then, so Let's Do It Nigeria. They talk about environmental sanitation, SDG goals. Then I took out my phone. I went with them because I love taking pictures still do. And I made short clip videos. I edited it about environment. And voila, you won't believe my video was played globally. They even used my video that made Let's Do It Nigeria to win that contest as 2, 3, or 4 years ago. And from there, people were like, oh, you were the one. I was like, okay. Now I was given the platform to perform. And I feel like, oh, so I have that person. Okay, that's good. Then from there, I realized that, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do public speaking. I never knew. I can ask questions. Oh, I don't have to be this way. The enabling environment will allow me to perform, and the potentials were just coming, and they're still coming. And that is why I'm interested in other young persons. And like, okay, what, you can do this. Do not let your society, wherever you are, limit you. Find yourself a place that will let you to perform. Then you'll be surprised at your growth. And so for me, 4 or 5 years, to me, it feels like something I've been doing for like a lot of years, and an opportunity to speak with people in my head. I'm like, how am I sitting with these people? How is this possible? But if you go through the normal process, they probably tell you at queue number 599. Before you can even get to this table, you need to But because I chose the angle of volunteering, from one way or the other, I connected with this person, and this person was like, wow, fantastic. I think you should be here, you should talk to this person. But what I was doing along the way, I was carrying people along, people that I was leading. I was carrying them along. I was delegating. I was telling them how I was doing it, and they were doing it, and everyone is growing together. Now that's the number. So the growth mindset is not just me, 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 me. You carry people along. As an African, we need to do more of that. Let us carry ourselves along for leadership development. It's not just you because you're going and your face is showing in posters. Now, okay, like I'm supposed to be doing a recording with some young people, but I delegated someone. I said, now you are ripe enough to do this. Go and do it. I'm doing this one. And yeah, the person was here. He just left. I'm sure he has gone to do that. That is what gives me fulfillment, because now you can use other opportunities to grow, but you need to be willing to perform. Wow, thank you, Obi, for that question. I think that's the angle to take for that.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Again, I wait for a few seconds in case somebody want to ask a question, because I have my question actually are not finishing.
We haven't had the questions and answers, so I think
All right.
Dr. Lee, what's his name, is supposed to take over and ask the questions, and then let's just take questions. Adios, also. I'm sorry, I didn't pronounce that name right. If you can hear us, hello. There's Ulu online, there's Elizabeth, there's Hubert, and there's other persons. So time for questions. What can you do? What level are you now? What help do you need? Because me, myself, I still have, my mentors, questions, confusing things. You need a mentor. We all need guidance. We all need to move forward. Hi, Hubert. Are you saying something, Dr. Hubert? I think he's speaking, but I can hear him. I cannot hear him.
While we are waiting for the person to speak, if you can respond to this question of
Hi.
mine, or you can leave it for later. Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, please go.
Hello. All right. Yes. Good evening, Dr. Yomi.
Oh, Doctor.
Yomi.
Hello.
Hi. I actually joined the lecture, the webinar a little bit late, but I think from so far, for what I picked up, it's really enlightening, and I've been able to just pick some few points from what you've said so far, especially with what the question this is Dr. Hubert asked about leadership in an organization and the role of an organization when it comes to building leadership. Thank you so much for asking that question. I think for me, I'm a young guy. I'm still growing, and all right. In a way, I've always sort of admired myself or seen myself as a leader, but my organization have made it a little bit possible for me to actually have some people to lead. But then I discover that being a leadership is not just about you knowing everything. So I've been having a little bit of struggle when it comes to knowing what to do as a leader, so that my followers, so I can show people that I are actually supposed to lead, what to do, just like what you said about delegating and telling people, okay, do this, this is how I did it, and they will follow your step as a leader. But from my end, I've been having a little bit of issue as regard that I in a way, I discovered that I still have a lot to learn, and to before I actually be the kind of leader I see myself becoming. So I just wanted to ask, how can I balance that learning how to be a leader and at the same time acting as a leader? I don't know if you get what I mean. How do I find balance between those two things?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for saying that. Finding balance.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Can
wow.
you hear me?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Number one, you said trying to show your team that you are a leader. Sometimes people go into leadership for recognition. Number one, take that out of your mind. Don't go into leadership. Don't try to be a leader because you want to be recognized, because you want people to know you, or because you need to be in place. Yes, you want to perform. Yes, you want to lead by example. Number one, take that out of your mind. That would take away about 60% of pressure. So that means figure, concentrate on being yourself. Meaning that if you are waking up, you're walking on the streets, people will probably just look at you for some reason and say, I think there's something about this guy. Do you understand what I mean? You know, when you just walk and people like, or when you just speak and people like, Now that is because you've been able to make leadership your lifestyle. Leadership is a lifestyle. What you need to now learn is looking at those areas of your life. You know, you're saying, how can you find balance? And finding balance is not really about, say, oh, wake up 2:30, put this one there, this time let me rest, this time let me go and talk to family. Because it is a lifestyle, because leadership is like a lifestyle. How you're living your life, from talking to family, from speaking. As I'm speaking, and this is probably how I'm even speaking with my wife, like, or maybe speaking with my brother as a family, or because it has been like my life, like a lifestyle. So I don't see the need to feel pressure like I want to impress anybody, or I'm seeking some type of balance. Now, when you're struggling to find balance, it is because you're ideally trying to deal with internal conflicts or external conflicts. Something is conflicting within you. Between, a good example is someone that is trying to stop going to club and staying home on Friday. There's a feeling like, I think I want to, like, can I find balance, going to club and staying at home? Can I stay to club this time? Can I not go home this time? Or can I? So I love the fact that you mentioned you want to build yourself. I love the fact that you say you want to keep learning. All you just need to do, keep learning, be there for your team, live it as a lifestyle. Do not put yourself under pressure. If you don't know it, tell the team, I don't know. Laugh about it and let them see that you are vulnerable. There's something called, a vulnerable leader. If vulnerability does not mean weakness, being vulnerable does not mean, you don't have to know everything. You don't even have to be the best in the room. You don't have to portray yourself as the best. But imagine that you are leading an amazing team. And even the best of the best is pointing out you are, Augustine is the boss, so Augustine is the leader. But in your head, be like, I don't even know anything. I'm only just, but because you have that potential to guide them in the right path. Okay? So let that balance you're looking for, let it be you checking your lifestyle. How am I living my life? What are the things I'm doing? What are the things that is contradicting with my competencies? What are the things going against or what I believe? What are those internal conflicts? What are the things I need to remove and put out? Then you realize that it should just be like a lifestyle. You wake up, you do your normal, people call you, ask questions, you answer them, you're adjusting, you're typing, you're getting things done. Yeah, try to look at that. Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay. Hubert, are you speaking?
I'm trying to speak, but I don't know if you can hear me. My
okay,
microphone
yes.
is not responding.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I want to appreciate you for this program.
Thank you.
And I also want to apologize that I arrived late today. And it has taken me some time to at least get the network where we are coming from and maybe where we are heading. I may have forgotten something to guide me and help me attain the bearing which is required. Now, I wanted to appreciate the fact that you have mentioned about employee development in organizations so that they can be able to develop into leaders. However, are we together?
Yes, please.
Thank you. I wanted to mention that we have a disease in many organizations, and especially these organizations which have a flat structure of management. In this type of organizations, you find that it is usually the employees are usually limited in being made as, in being molded to become leaders. And in most cases, you will find in this kind of organization, many people are reporting to one person. And these employees, you find that they are not in a position actually to grow up as leaders, because most of the decisions are centralized and operations are also centralized, and you find that it is a challenge. Now, at the same time, an organization may also give a chance to employees to grow, but unless if you have these high performers and those people who have high potential, they will not be able to take up the leadership role. In my own understanding, out of experience, I have tried to promote some employees and I have actually lost them because they are performing very well in their duties. But the moment you try to elevate them to any leadership role, for example, a supervisor, you find that this person is performing dismally. The person does not have now the self-esteem which is supposed to propel the person to perform the leadership roles. And at the end of the day, this person becomes demoralized, and even you find some of them wanting to resign because, one, they are disappointing you. You are someone, there are people that you are looking upon to perform certain duties and roles, but in this case, you find that they are failing. They also feel guilty of themselves, and at the end of the day, they want even to leave the organization. Now, for such people whom you try to mold, whom you try to promote into leadership positions, you try to bring them to that level of leadership, but they are not able to respond because of nature. I don't know, Yemi and other participants, how you can help such employees. Are we going to leave them down there, or we are going to help them in which way? I don't know if you can actually try to come in.
Dr. Hubert, you just asked a very fantastic question. And I have seen this happen over and over in different organizations that we've gone to help, because I am a coach here. I'm an Agile coach, not just an Agile coach. I had to become a life coach, a mental health coach, just because to be able to handle different scenarios and to be able to administer the right solution in quotes for each person. Sometimes, so what I have observed over time, what organizations are doing might not be necessary in your case, but based on what you've said is, yeah, they are performing very well and you want to promote them, and you realize that they do not even possess that leadership qualities or competencies required to be like a supervisor, to lead people and to do all of that. Okay, good. If you see that there is an employee that have potentials and they are to be promoted, which is maybe as expected, organization tend to, let's train. Let's give them a training, maybe the leadership training, which is all right. You call them in, you give them training, they go through slides, they are good. But the problem there now is that this person, you've not used, like I call it design thinking. What is it that you are even lacking in your leadership style, skills, competences? I might put up a slide and I might be talking on something you already have. And maybe what you don't really have is where I just spend maybe a few seconds and I'm done. And you feel like, okay, good, I'm done with the training and I'm good to go. There should be like a program, a pre-program before any leadership program, and have like a survey, have like a question, have like a coach, or I ask someone, okay, tell me this, feel this, what are your leadership style? What are the things you have? Where are you now? What are the things you're lacking? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the things you need to do? Do you have these? Do you have that? Or you don't have this? You don't have that? Now, from that analysis, from that survey, you can easily look at what that person is lacking. There are so many psychometric forms online that people can feel, and you can even use them. Like, oh, this is your leadership style, because training does not really help people. This training now is just like a rudiment foundation. Every aspect you can still dive in really deep. So what you just need to do, to be very quick because of time, help them identify their leadership style using any psychometric or any means possible. Oh, this person I want to promote, their leadership style is this. Okay, for this position, this is the leadership style will feel my work. How can we cooperate, train, help this person to align in this leadership style? Now, if you go through that route, trust me, it will make sense. Then you have to measure. The measurement should not be used as maybe why you have to upgrade at work. You measure them again based on that. Oh, let me come back and say, maybe you hired me. Let me come back and check this person. Oh, okay, good. I can see this is what you're doing. Then let's do the analysis again. This is where we need to work on. You'll be surprised at the performance. But because organization, not all, some organizations do not know about this, or they do and they don't have time to do due diligence, or they feel like your high performer is expected to be able to lead people. So they just assume, and when they put them there, performance just drops, because maybe that high performer is good to working alone, a loner, just like us. So if you can identify what that person is lacking, then you know the particular routes to take. Dr. Hubert, I hope I'm able to answer that question in brief, but we can always continue it maybe outside of this session, okay?
Thank
you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Yemi, for that answer.
Thank you. Okay, I think Obey wants to say something.
Yeah. I was saying, for those who want to get started in leadership, understanding leadership training, or having a better knowledge of leadership, where do you think they should start from? What is your recommendation?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if you heard
Okay.
my
You
questions.
said for someone that wants to start on leadership,
Yeah.
where should they start from?
Yeah.
A good example is what we've done today. If you need someone that wants to take corporate on a journey, in fact, I think this video should be able to get them started. Meaning that you need to start from self, obviously. You can't jump from phase 1 to phase 3 and miss out phase 2. Okay, because it's going to be seen, it's going to be obvious. So what you need to do is start with self. What are my strengths? Do a SWOT analysis on yourself. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the things I can do? What are the things I need to figure out? How can I be honest with myself? Honesty. So being honest with myself is that, oh, I'm a shy person, for an example. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do that. Okay, so what can I do to be able to do it? What should I need to do next? You can get a coach, you can get a mentor, you can join a volunteering organization. People don't know that, oh, you are so much available to help many young people. You know, you have a YouTube channel, you've done amazing, you've done a lot. Now, people don't even know, because they're not even checking the right place, that they can access you and you can mentor them and help them to be an amazing person, amazing leader. People don't know about all this. So that is why I also advise leaders that put yourself out there. You know, if you really understand what leadership means and you've attained to a particular level, put yourself out there and let people know that you are available to help, to do this or to do that. Because it starts with self. From self, then you start to level the phase 1, being a high performer, or the phase 2. Then note that is a circle. It's never ending. You keep learning, you keep growing. There's no magic to it. Just start. Start and say, what are those things I'm doing that is holding me back as a leader? And knowing that a leader is not someone as a president or a pastor. No. It's not, those ones are not just the leader that we think in our head. Me, myself, I'm a leader. And leadership is about your lifestyle, you live your life. So how can I change the way I live my life so I can start, moving up the ladder, developing myself? It's not just doing certification. Of course, you do that. There's so many interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence, things you need to work on yourself. But ask yourself the truth. True questions, and start working on it. Short and simple. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That's really interesting. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So thank you, everyone. I believe we've been able to deliver this as a team, is because obviously I'm super excited that it's not just me doing the talking. I've got Obey, I've got Elizabeth, I've got Dr. Obert and Ade, August, let me say that, to join, and every other person listening in. And from my end, I think good. If there are no questions, then I'm gonna hand over to, is it Elizabeth now? Or is it Dr. Eileen? Dr. Eileen? Okay, I think Dr. Eileen has dropped off, maybe network.
Okay, well, if there is no question, like you said, yeah, we have gotten the best of you actually. So I want to thank you on behalf of the community, on behalf of those who are listening to us. We did got a lot of interesting information from you. So thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Super grateful. Thank you so much.
All right, so that is where we are drawing the curtain of today. So we are going to continue next time. There are a lot of good things that are happening here at this center. So thank everyone.
Hello.
Yes.
Just before we log out,
yes,
I
please.
just wanted to ask, I missed the introductory part of this meeting. If we can just rewind and go back, if you do some small introduction about the meeting and what was the main objective. Of course, the objective is very clear, but about the organization and such like information, it will be of great importance. Thank you for taking you back. It's because I arrived late. Thank you.
We actually talk about leadership today. I don't know if Mr. Olulayemi would like to say something about that, about the main discussion that we had today, and because he just say he needed some few things to, because it missed the greater part of it in the beginning. Okay,
so in a minute, quickly, so today's topic is about leadership development, and we are able to look at some slides. The first one is the common leadership styles. You get, if you don't know your style as a leader, there might be a problem with how you're going to be leading yourself or your team or even at executive level. Okay, so at this point you can know which style you are, and we said you can still move from one style to another style and try not to pair people of the same style together so that they can be able to complement, which is also good in leadership. Then from there, getting the style, we look at the competencies you need to lead yourself, to lead others, and to lead as an organization. To lead yourself is very important. That is the foundation. That is what you need to need. You need to know, are you courageous? Can you manage yourself? Are you agile enough? Industry expertise. Leading others, you need interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence. To lead organizations, conflict resolution skills, decision making, social intelligence. You should be a decision maker, really. So from the leadership style, we move to the competencies needed. Then we also look at the face. So if you have all of that, you start there, then you can be at level 1, a highly capable individual. And you can only know if someone tell you. You can't just say for yourself, I'm highly capable, because you need to perform, then you need to be measured. And from there, you move to the second level where you can manage team, then to managerial level. Then executive level is more like you're interconnecting between 3 and 5. So 5, you can be at an executive level. So there are phases. Being in phase level 5 does not mean you can't still reflect in level 1. So you can still do self-reflection, and you can do all of that. And we move to the 9-box grid where you measure performance against potential, where potential is your future performance capacity and performance is what you're doing currently. Okay. Then from there, we ask questions. So that's where this video is going to be available online, so you can still watch again. And this is brought to you by AYD African Youth Diaspora Organization, and they're online if you need more information about them. Yeah, thank you, Bay. Thank you, Bert.
All right, thank you, everyone. That is what we draw the curtain for today. My appreciation from here.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye. Have a great
Okay.
day.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.